Good morning, Friday. I'm Gretchen Ho. It is the 6th day of June, bringing you Morning Matters because your mornings matter. Let's get to the stories that matter today. Senator Amy Marcos suspects that even admin-allied senators are reluctant to push for an impeachment trial, believing they may be afraid of the humiliation of losing. Yet a framer of the Constitution insists it must move forward. The Directors Guild of the Philippines Incorporated firmly rejects Senate Bill number 2805, which aims to expand MTRCB's control over online streaming platforms. The group claims the bill unfairly restricts film, television, and streaming creators. Senior high school students will begin the 2025-2026 academic year under a newly revised curriculum implemented in hundreds of schools. Let's discuss the matter later in the program. Welcome to our program, Morning Matters, where we talk about the issues you need to know for the rest of your day. Now, first on the agenda, Senator Amy Marcos suspects that even admin-allied senators no longer want an impeachment trial. But one framer of the Constitution insists a trial must happen. Here is a report.
Senator Amy Marcos drops a bold suspicion. Even admin-allied senators, she says, want the impeachment trial against Vice President Sara Duterte scrapped. According to her, they may be fearing the shame of a possible defeat.
Ang akin lamang, ang duda ko, hindi lamang ang sinasabi o tinatawag na mga Duterte ang interesado sa pag-dismiss. Ang pakiramdam ko, mismo ang administrasyon ay may mga grupo na nagsasabi na wag nang ituloy at baka mapahiya lang sa numero. Di ba mas mahirap, mas nakakahiya kapag nagkaroon ng paglilitis at matalo?
The Senate has already delayed the presentation of the impeachment articles, originally set for June 2, now moved to June 11. A draft resolution to dismiss the case has also been making the rounds, initially led by Senator Bato de la Rosa. But Senator Marcos says several versions are now circulating, as some senators coordinate to find a legally sound exit plan. Still, she says Duterte herself never asked her to stop the process.
Abogado yun, hindi yan pag-uusapan. Alam niya, magiging huwes ako eh. Hindi nga, ako nga inaawat eh. Ay, magdahan-dahan ka, mag-judge ko dyan. Ang sabi lang niya, ano man ang mangyari, tanggap ko na.
Returning Senator Ping Lacson confirms he too received a copy of the draft resolution even before officially assuming office. But can the Senate legally dismiss the case without a trial?
Hindi nga sila nag-aamta sa impeachment court. So wala silang personalidad, wala silang authority na mag-dismiss ng isang impeachment complaint. Kasi ang pwede lang umakto sa impeachment complaint na matransmit, properly transmitted ng House sa Senate para mag-constitute sila into an impeachment court, yung court mismo.
For his part, Senator J.V. Ejercito takes a firm stand. The impeachment process must proceed.
I'm in favor of pushing through with the impeachment because sabi ko nga, duty-bound kami. Hindi maibig sabihin for conviction na ako. Diba? And that will give the accused also the chance to clear his or her name.
Meantime, constitutional framer attorney Christian Monsod warns the Senate cannot legally skip the trial.
Maybe it's a delaying tactic because they think that the 20th Congress cannot proceed anymore. In other words, that the impeachment case dies with the 19th Congress. They are wrong. They are wrong. The case must be finished, the trial must be conducted.
And for attorney Michael Yusinko of the Ateneo Policy Center, the delays only reveal what he calls a failure in Senate leadership.
Tayo mga mamamayan, we can exact accountability, no? Kung gusto natin, no? Given what the senators are doing now, or they can just remember what happened and then vote accordingly in 2028.
Mamamayang Liberal Party List Representative-elect Laila De Lima criticized the Senate for delaying action on the impeachment case against Vice President Sara Duterte. De Lima stressed that the delay is already in violation of the Constitution. She added that she finds no procedural infirmity in the impeachment complaint endorsed by the House of Representatives. De Lima also said there is a strong basis for the complaint. Meanwhile, she clarified she is not officially a House prosecutor yet.
As far as I know, and as far as I argue, there is no procedural infirmity of what has happened yet so far at the House level. Napakahalaga po nito because we're talking here about accountability, pananagot. Na kung babasahin nyo yung verified complaint, lalo na yung articles of impeachment na na-transmit na sa Senado, at kahit basahin nyo rin po yung mga nandun sa first 3 complaints filed by various groups and endorsed by members of the House of Representatives, very substantive grounds, and the stated grounds are those recognized under the Constitution.
Malacanang says it will weigh the economic impact of the proposed 200 peso wage hike and consult stakeholders. This comes after the measure's passage in the House, drawing mixed reactions. Gio Robles with a report.
Joanna Labaday can't hold back tears as she tells us how she stretches her 6,000 peso take-home pay every 15th and 30th of the month. She is a single mom of 4 children, working as security guard for a bakery in Quezon City. Food is where most of her pay goes to.
Mas priority talaga pagkain kasi konsumo yan araw-araw eh. Di ba pag walang pagkain, manghihina yung tao. Lalo na mga anak mo laging gutom, di ba? Kaya kailangan lagi may pagkain.
But most of the time, she still can't make ends meet. If the wage hike comes to pass, the current 645 peso minimum wage would go up to 845 pesos. This also means the monthly income of minimum wage earners would be augmented by at least 4,400 pesos. All contractual, subcontractual, agricultural, or non-agricultural workers will also be covered by the increase. In February last year, the Senate also approved a similar bill with a daily minimum wage hike of 100 pesos. Senator Mig Zubiri, author of the wage bill in the upper chamber, sees no problem adopting the House's version, but he hopes amendments can be immediately tackled in the BICAM before sessions adjourn again. Senator J.V. Ejercito is also all for the wage hike, but is thinking of its impact on businesses.
We have to strike a balance always. We have to make sure also that yung business will be able to survive. Baka kasi masyado mabigat sa iba yan, especially for the small and medium scale businesses.
Something the Employers Confederation of the Philippines, or ECOP, is worried about.
Pinakamababa minimum wage natin sa Pilipinas. Pang-attract natin na investment. Ngayon, pinakamataas tayo din sa region. Tapos dadagdagan mo pa yan. Sino pa mag-i-invest sa atin?
The Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry has reservations as well, saying the 200 peso wage hike has effects on the economy, on prices of goods and services, on workers in the informal sector who account for about half of the population, and on micro and small traders that comprise 96% of the total enterprises in the country. The Makati Business Club meantime emphasized how small business owners would have to raise costs from 31 to 44% just to accommodate the wage hike. Malacanang is taking note of all these concerns.
We will look at the economic implications of this and how to resolve this with the opinion of the wage boards, since the wage boards are also the creations of the Congress. So nais po ng Pangulo na maibigay kung ano po ang makakabuti sa mga manggagawang Pilipino. Titignan ng lahat ng aspeto at ang concerns ng lahat ng stakeholders.
For News 5, Gio Robles, we are One News.
Philippine troops recently conducted a maritime patrol reaching Parola and Likas Islands, 2 of the 9 military outposts in the West Philippine Sea. The team boarded BRP Andres Bonifacio, braving rough waves near Pag-asa Island. Parola Island lies beyond the 200 nautical mile EEZ but remains under Philippine control.
Bawat feature natin dito sa West Philippine Sea, yung siyam na features na to, no, ay tinatauhan natin ng miyembro ng Sandatahang Lakas ng Pilipinas to assert our sovereignty.
The patrol then proceeded to Likas Island, a white sand paradise known as a sanctuary for giant sea turtles. Though far from the mainland, Likas is equipped with solar power, desalination systems, a basketball court, and a vegetable garden to help troops cope with their isolated duty.
They are highly trained. Yung attitude nila, they're well motivated, and of course they're properly sustained to man this island. May mga nasa pipeline for enhancing this patrol base. Nasa pipeline na natin yan to enhance, especially sa sustainment and habitability ng ating patrol base dito.
Don't go away, we'll be back with more stories right after the break. Good morning, I'm Gretchen Ho, and here on Morning Matters, we talk about the most pressing issues and give you the context behind the headlines. The Directors Guild of the Philippines Incorporated has strongly opposed Senate Bill number 2805, which seeks to expand the powers of the MTRCB to regulate online streaming platforms. DGPI maintains that streaming content is primarily consumed privately and should not be classified as public exhibition. The group argues that the bill unfairly targets creators across film, television, and streaming services. DGPI, or Directors Guild of the Philippines, is now calling for careful consideration to protect their rights. And to discuss this further, we are joined by Mark Maley, President of the Directors of the Guild of the Philippines. Welcome to Morning Matters.
Hi, good morning, Gretchen. Thank you.
Okay, so Senate Bill 2805 has been put before the floor, and MTRCB head Lala Soto says there will be no censorship, but just child protection. Do you think that is possible?
Very weird yung comment na yun. First of all, when you say there's no censorship, kasi yung definition nila of online streaming content is anything that is subscribed, online content. So even if I pay privately, that for them, anything that is accessed public can be accessed by the public. Even if you consume it privately, is considered public exhibition. So and then they have we agree with the ratings, with the classification and the rating, except for yung X rating, because they can say that one content is has an X, should be given an X rating, pero it not necessarily need to be pornographic or extreme violence. So they will tell you that even if you're an adult, you are not allowed to watch that, even privately on your own phone. Pag X siya. And I'll give you a good example. Last year, a movie named called Alipato at Moog, which is an award-winning film sa Cinemalaya. When it applied for an MTRCB rating, it's a political film. It's a film about the disappearance of Jonas Burgos and the story of his mom. It was given initially an X rating. Can you imagine?
What could have been the reason?
Kasi hindi daw balance yung portrayal ng military and so on. And nothing in the film that was shown is not available or has already been screened publicly sa news. So all of the topics there were already, it's just that they curated it and they created a documentary out of it, and suddenly it gets an X rating.
So it was not
They had to apply for a second review for consideration, and then it passed. So it was given, I think, an R16 rating. But that's an example of yung overreach, na parang, who are you to tell me, as an adult, what I can and cannot watch? So, privately.
Pero sabi nila dito, there is no mandatory viewing of the content before its release. It is just aiming to give the government power to respond to harmful content involving child abuse, exploitation, or voyeurism.
Very, very tricky. And it's something that initially I didn't want to go to because it raises bigger questions. The top streaming platforms right now, YouTube, Netflix, even Facebook, and all the others, Amazon, they all have their own
internal
systems. Well, it's not, but basically they try to regulate their content. It's just in a way self-censorship. So they already have the algorithms to notice if there is a human breast or a sexual activity that's happening right now already. And they have people who will monitor this, fina-flag siya. And then even if it goes online, people, the audience, can still make a comment. So may feedback system na already in place. They have the technology, they have the people, they have the budget.
But what about certain streaming platforms that have a tendency to show bordering pornographic content? But how about that? And they're making a lot of money.
Kasi all of these streaming platforms, as I said, for example, if it's an adult streaming platform, you cannot access that, you cannot even subscribe to that if you are under 18.
Pero you can just fake your age, di ba?
You have to have a credit card. The credit card has data already of your age. Even if it's a wallet. So meron siyang data.
Hindi ba e-wallet lang yan?
Hindi. It still has to go through that. And then, if you read the bill, there is a provision there that says that we want to protect our children kasi we are not sure kasi baka meron daw children who will try to sneak in and access adult content. So then it becomes the MTRCB cannot be the parent, cannot be the default parent if the actual parents are not doing their job. So for example, nakalagay dun sa it's now it's not anymore a content issue but a trust issue. Kung hindi mo mapapagkatiwalaan yung anak mo, then the problem is you because you cannot be a good parent. You cannot expect and who is the MTRCB to say that we know what good parenting is? Not all of them are parents. Not all of them have experience of becoming parents.
How about the MTRCB trying to force or empower the local streaming services to strengthen also their controls over who gets to access their content? Is that a better solution? Because also, if you take a look at the law, there is RA 9775, which defines any production, distribution, possession of pornography, particularly child pornography, as illegal. So if you have content bordering on that or near that already, di ba, lumulusot, nakakalusot dito, paano mo naman paprotektahan yung mga bata?
Iba yung let's all agree that the Directors Guild of the Philippines is against exploitation. It's against any form of abuse. We also want to protect our children, di ba? But yung overreach ng MTRCB na, no, we will be the guardians. Okay, we know what the exact standards on what the child should watch or cannot watch. Even the flagging systems, medyo it will have an opportunity to be abused. Pag hindi ko gusto yung nag-upload niyan, I will just keep on sending complaints to the MTRCB. And then, of course, it's going to be dismissed later on. Pero you already have that system, the flagging system, with YouTube, with Facebook, and even Netflix, all of the streaming platforms. So, redundant na. But the thing is, there's a provision na dadagdagan nila yung, because of these additional powers, dadagdagan nila yung budget So it's just a waste of taxpayers' money. So ang bigger question here is, if all of these platforms already have these systems, these feedback systems, and this technology has evolved. The bigger question is, at this point, is the MTRCB still relevant when it comes to the digital space?
What do you think is the ideal setup here?
As it is, we're okay. What we have here, you know, anything that's being shown in the cinemas, anything that is being shown on television can be regulated. It's just yung ang ano namin yung ang issue namin is yung overreach doon sa sa privacy. They can say what is X-rated or not. A documentary, a political documentary is suddenly X-rated. There is a movie last year called Dear Santa, which was originally called Dear Satan. There's nothing sexual or violent about it. It's a comedy. But it was given an X rating twice. Why? Because of the title. And then ang argument ng MTRCB is because in the story, it says that the devil can be a good person if somebody teaches the devil to do something good. And that cannot happen in real life because in the Bible, the devil is always bad.
Okay.
So now, yung topic, pati yung subject, nagkakaroon na ng opinion yung MTRCB. So it was bad.
Would you know how many people in the MTRCB come together to decide on this
there are at least three reviewers for every film. So every time, and then they give their review, and then they will tell the producer their comments on it, and of course the classification.
Pero ilang tao ang nagde-decide?
Three at least.
Tatlo.
Tas pag
Three people can decide the fate.
Yes.
Of
yeah. And you can imagine the production
millions,
and that's why we're saying it's detrimental to the Philippine film industry. Kasi one film, producing a film can take as much as 6-7 months from development, even longer. And then suddenly, in one screening, 3 people will say, I don't like the title, Dear Satan. That's bad Let's give it an X rating. Parang gano'n.
But do you agree that this is also a mechanism to get more views? As a director, how would you put the line between nudity that is art and nudity that is, for bordering on pornographic already?
You always look at the context of any film. That's a problem that we have with the MTRCB. They look at it per scene, diba? We are showing human genitals. But that's the statue of David in Italy, in Florence. So parang suddenly that can be censored and that can be given an X rating. Something that there's this nudity at the Sistine Chapel. Dapat ba yun? Ise-censor na. So you have to look at the context. So if it's about religious, it's about the creation, it's about the biblical character, it's about the story needed that, then it's okay. Then that's not pornographic, di ba?
Well, the MTRCB actually said they are open to consultations on this bill, which is probably needing your input, of course, from the DGPI.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned that the local film industry is struggling with what is happening now. Can you give us an idea of the landscape? Isn't that there a huge window of opportunity for local film producers and directors with all of these streaming websites?
The streaming websites is now becoming the mainstream. Philippine cinema is no longer the mainstream. The last movie that broke even, we're not even saying blockbuster, was during the Metro Manila Film Festival. From January to June, wala pang nagbe-break even.
Nag-break even sila through Philippine cinema, you mean?
Through Philippine
the
cinema,
The normal way.
The only way that they break even is when they re-release it sa streaming platforms. So ganun ka struggling. Tapos there's a provision. We want to attract foreign producers. We're always losing to Thailand. Kasi we always say, oh, we're good at English, but that's about it. Diba? Parang we have the same beaches as beautiful or resorts that they have also in Thailand. But why are we losing? There's a provision in the bill that says that if you're producing something and if you're exporting it, meaning you're going to screen it abroad or whatever, foreign production, they have to approve the content of that. So even if it doesn't happen yet, the idea alone will turn off a lot of producers. Oh, we don't want to go to there. We're not even airing this film or this show on the Philippines.
In Thailand, what guardrails do they have?
Wala silang as long as you do not attack the king. Very it's very transparent yung nila yung. And then, as what one of our members, si Quark Henares, said, who used to work for a streaming platform, he said, if you pass this law, it will be the strictest in Asia. I mean, in Southeast Asia. I mean, of course, Myanmar would be actually the strictest, but then we're gonna be next to Myanmar. I mean, it's not a good comparison, diba?
But I mean, how are theaters doing now? Marami nagreklamo na masyadong mahal yung
mahal.
presyo.
It's expensive.
Or are people just not going to theaters anymore?
People are not going to theaters anymore. I recently watched a blockbuster movie, supposedly, and the seats are not even full. The cinema is not even full. Tapos you could choose what time you want to screen. There's no line in the movie house. It's a Hollywood movie. So you could imagine what more for Philippine films. The issue with the ticket is a different matter because ang stakeholders dyan is the exhibitors also. Exhibitors and producers. So ang hirap
But what is the golden path now for directors and producers? I mean, pag na-hit namin ito, siguradong magtatagumpay kami, jackpot kami dito.
For a movie?
Yeah, for a movie.
Well, one, it has baka break even lang siya sa And of course, export. If we could show our films outside the country, it can have a bigger audience. Pero yung yung bill na yan has a provision that you cannot export it. Export is not even So if you're just showing it in a film festival, they have to classify it. They have to review it. And what if I'm going to show it at the Cannes Film Festival? Of course they can always waive. They can always waive. They can choose not to. But kasi for international film festival, but the law says they have the right to review it first.
So what is the perfect solution here? Just to
Gretchen,
leave it be.
Yes, and then sana kasi when they had the hearings, they only invited us once. In all of the other hearings, the key stakeholders were not invited. If they want a discussion, then why don't you invite the stakeholders?
This seems to be a long discussion. Hopefully, it doesn't end up in drama. Thank you very much,
Thank you
Direct
very
Mark,
much.
for joining us today and giving us your insights and your mind on this matter. That was Mark Maley, President of the Directors Guild of the Philippines, commenting on Senate Bill 2805. Stay tuned. Morning Matters will be back right after a quick break. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. A new curriculum will welcome senior high school students in hundreds of schools this academic year 2025 to 2026. Here is a report.
The Department of Education is in full preparation for the upcoming school year. Major changes are also being introduced in the curriculum to better equip students for the workforce. One of the key reforms includes integrating digital literacy and AI literacy into the curriculum.
Kasi nagbabago nga yung requirements ng mga trabaho, nung mga skills na kinakailangan para magkaroon ng trabaho. So kami sa DepEd, dapat nagbabago rin yung training at saka yung curriculum namin.
Education Secretary Sonny Angara clarified this is not a full restructuring, but an update to the Philippine Qualifications Framework to expand options for senior high graduates.
Konting dagdag, konting reforma, konting pagbago sa hugis, pero hindi naman yung restructure kasi parang binabago mo lahat.
In the senior high school curriculum, the number of required subjects will drop from 33 to just 5. Students will have the opportunity to choose their additional subjects based on their interests and career plans. Non-core subjects like sports and philosophy will become electives and will no longer be mandatory.
Well, yung features nung reform namin ng senior high school, yung mas konti na yung subjects. Dahil ngayon 33 subjects, babawasan na natin yun. Ang i-require na lang natin sa mga bata, 5 subjects. Tapos yung karamihan doon, yung dagdag doon, yung bata na ang mamimili nung kanyang gusto. Depende sa kanyang plano sa buhay.
DepEd is also preparing for the annual Brigada Eskwela, calling on private sector and community partners to support the nationwide initiative in readying schools for opening day.
Well, next week, umpisa na tayo ng Brigada Eskwela, which naging tradition na po yan, kung saan nagsasama-sama ang mga komunidad, and no less than the President will lead us sa launch ng Brigada Eskwela.
The Education Department is also addressing traditional challenges, such as classroom shortages and lack of teachers. DepEd also plans to enhance remote learning by improving technology infrastructure, so students in far-flung areas can access quality education.
Dahil yung iba, dapat ang napakaganda na ng estado ng teknolohiya kung patibayan natin sa mga komunidad dyan, yung bata sa Batanes, pwede niyang, kahit yung teacher niya nasa Sulu, di ba? Pwede pa rin niyang kausapin kung maganda yung teknolohiya natin, maganda yung technology infrastructure natin.
Education Secretary Sonny Angara dismissed claims that ethics would be scrapped from the curriculum. This comes after the University of the Philippines Diliman Department of Philosophy slammed DepEd's recommendation to drop ethics from general education. The group warned that cutting ethics would undermine critical thinking and civic awareness among students. However, Angara told One News Morning Matters that there is no such proposal. He said the plan is to transfer selected subjects and competencies from college to senior high school, not to remove ethics altogether. Senate President Pro Tempore Jinggoy Estrada has filed a bill seeking to remove the senior high school program. Senate Bill 3001, known as the Rationalized Basic Education Act, targets the elimination of the additional 2 years added under the current K-12 system, but does not repeal the entire Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. Estrada argues that the program burdens students and parents with extra time and cost without delivering promised benefits. The senior high school was intended to align with global standards and improve job readiness. However, many graduates still struggle to find work, prompting the Department of Education to revise the curriculum. And to talk about that and more, we have House Committee on Basic Education and Culture Chairman Representative Roman Romulo. Welcome to Morning Matters, Congressman.
Yes, good morning, Gretchen. Good morning to everyone listening and viewing this program.
So what do you make of that proposal of Senator Jinggoy Estrada wanting to scrap the K-12, the additional 2 years, kasi it has not delivered on its promises after 12 years?
Yeah. Actually, Gretchen, we welcome that because on the part of the House of Representatives, we have already passed on third and final reading our version of the proposed revision to K-12. If you recall, sometime in 2019, a former President, Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo, already filed a similar measure in the House of Representatives. So since 2019 until we passed it on third and final reading, we have been holding hearings on that, and now it has evolved. It is now called the Education Pathways Bill, and in the House, we have passed it on third and final reading. That is why we welcome any move from the Senate, because maybe at the right time, we will have a BICAM, so we can discuss this. And
what
finally,
is in that bill?
In the bill that we passed in the House, what we are now asking is, first, we remove all the tracks and all the strands. Right now, currently under the K-12 program, after grade 10, a student will choose amongst 4 tracks, remember? It's academic, tech voc, arts, and of course sports. In 2012-2013, when that law was passed, the promise was we would get about 40% for academics, 40% for tech voc, and 10% for sports, 10% for arts. Right now, barely 1% goes to sports, barely 2% goes to arts, and about the remaining 29% go to tech voc from a high of 36. Just to show that the program is not working. From a high of 36, now it's just 29% going to tech voc. And then the remaining all go to
Why don't
the
they
academic
want to
track.
go to? Bakit bumaba kaya yung numero na yun?
Well, because the promise in 2012, 2013 was you would be job ready for a job that will give you quality work. But that has also not happened. In fact, most of our tech voc graduates proceed to college. And the reason for that is even industry say they are not, they still prefer a college graduate or at least a second-year college graduate. That's reality. So you added 2 years with a promise for a quality job, and that never really happened in general. And I think the problem is even structural. Because what do we give? If you enter Tech Voc in DepEd, what national certificate do they give you? They give you what they call NC2. Under PQF, which is the Philippine Qualifications Framework, an NC2 means that that individual is skilled, but that individual would still need guidance. So how can you say that is job ready? In fact, I saw, they presented to me in EDCOM 2 and in the committee some studies saying that right now, it's improving. Many of our K-12 graduates in Tech Voc are getting jobs. But Gretchen, take a look at the jobs that they get. The jobs that they get, they could have gotten that even without the additional 2 years. If they had finished fourth year high school, they would have gotten the same work. In fact, there are some jobs that they got, which I feel they would have even gotten even if they had not finished fourth year high school. So the 2 years for me was really a waste of time. So in that sense, I agree with what Senator Jinggoy is saying. But then I'm happy that now they finally have a bill because from the House, we've already passed that on third and final reading.
So Education Pathways Bill is also calling to scrap the K-12 system?
That was the original bill, but what we did was we already revised it. So after grade 10, the no more tracks, no more strands. A learner who wishes to go to college will have to go to grades 11 and 12. So that we still, as they were telling us that we still need that globally. So you still go to 11 and 12.
Para-pareho.
Para pareho, may K-12 ka pa rin. But our proposal is that scrap the strands, no more strands. Right now, Gretchen, there are certain courses in college that if you did not take the right strand, you will take bridging programs. Your college life will even be extended. And there are even local universities and colleges which don't accept certain graduates from K-12 academic track in certain programs, if the strand you chose is not aligned. So effectively, after grade 10, a learner should have made the decision already, which I think is unfair. Because that would be about 16, 17 years old.
Actually, nga inisip ko, sabi ko, as a young person, I mean, like even I just found out what I wanted to do after I graduated from college. Not even in high school, I wanted to be everything.
Yes. So in this case, either they will not allow you in that program because you did not choose the right strand, or you will have bridging programs. So we lengthened the basic education by adding grades 11 and 12, and in certain programs, because of the bridging programs, you also lengthen the college years. And then what do we offer after that? So that is the problem. So what we're saying, take away the strands, academic, and then right now it's 31 core subjects. 15, I think, of core subjects, 16 electives, which are all mandatory. So 31 mandatory. What we're saying, let's do away with that. That's too congested, too much subjects. Our advice is simply to take a look at the GE subjects in first-year college. The GE subjects are those that are taken by all students who will pass through first-year college. In EdCom 2, we found out there were 8. 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I had a hearing 3 Mondays ago in the House, and we asked CHED to confirm if it's really 8 GE subjects. They came back a week later, a Wednesday, saying, yes, it's 8. And this is where some of the, I think we were talking about earlier, that there was
Kasama doon ang ethics.
miscommunication.
Kasama doon ang ethics sa GE subject.
Because there are 8 remaining GE subjects in college. According to CHED and DepEd, they are in discussions on that 8. 3 of the 8, according to CHED and DepEd, are actually already found in DepEd or curriculum already. Like one, contemporary history. We have Araling Panlipunan already, and we will enhance that, in fact. Secondly, arts. We already also have arts in K-12. And the third one was the more controversial one, ethics. Because the interpretation there was that ethics already is being taught, because we also had the new law, remember, in the last Congress, the GMRC law, wherein we returned good manners and right conduct as a subject from grades 1 to 6 and 7 to 12 values education. So when they talk, from their point of view, ethics already is covered by the GMRC law. So from K to 12, meron na tayong ethics.
Although as somebody who took up ethics in college, I would say that the discernment level is different when you take it up when you're older. And pag sinabi nating ethics, medyo malayo siyang diskusyon sa good manners and right conduct, because yung ethics actually explores systems. It helps you think about morality. It helps you discern kung ano yung nandyan na, para you can move out of it to think of something better when you graduate.
And I have no problem with that, Gretchen. But again...
So to move it from college and to bring it to senior high school or high school, isn't that a dilution of what the goal was supposed to be?
First of all, it's a proposal. Secondly, again, it's covered from grades 1 to 12. So hindi ba is it not possible to be able to put some of the competencies which you just discussed now in grades 11 or 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? Is that not possible? Again, if that is not possible, if that is the decision by the technical panels, again, we will respect that. Because our proposal, in fact, in the House was this simple. Instead of the 15 core subjects, let's take a look at the 8 subjects. The 8 subjects, let's just copy that. My proposal, in fact, was 4 G subjects in grade 11, 4 in grade 12. If you pass that, those are college subjects, then you proceed to college. Yung iba electives na lang. When you get to college, when you get to college, you can take an advanced placement exam. So I'm in the proposal of the House, we're not even removing it. We're just saying, allow the student to have an advanced placement. If they pass that, credit the 8 subjects or a number of that for you to credit the 8 subjects if they pass your APE when they reach college. But the proposal of what was laid in the committee that Wednesday was, of the 3, covered na yan. So the 5, they'll bring it down. Sa grades 11, grade 11 lang. First sem and second sem, 5.
Itong tatlong subject, ano po ito?
Yung tatlo na ethics.
Yung tatlo na sinabi.
Yes. World Contemporary History and Arts.
Yung 5 po, ano po yung 5?
Yung 5, iba-iba rin ano, I can't recall exactly the 5. But yung 5, ibababa sa 11. And then grade 12, electives na lang. So that is why, sinasabi namin, last Wednesday, 2 Wednesdays ago, we were telling them, then our bill, the one we passed on 3rd reading, in fact, has another component, Gretchen, which after grade 10, we said that maybe we should allow the students to take what we call an honors exam. If you pass that honors exam, you're exempted from grades 11 and 12. You can go straight to first-year college. We did not remove K to 12, but for those students who studied hard, K to 10, and who can already pass and manage college courses, we should allow them. And my reason is simple. For a family that is well off, rich, you can study for 20 years and you will eat every day. But for most Filipino families, they need quality education and quality jobs at the soonest possible time. They don't have the luxury of well-off families that they can study for life. They have to get quality as soon as possible time, get a quality job after college, and then they will be able to help themselves and help their families. That is the reason why I say after grade 10, let's have an honors exam. It's an optional thing. You don't have to take it. You can still take 11 and 12 if you want to. But if you've studied hard K to 10, you need to help your family as soon as possible time. Let's give that, that's not different. Come on, we have, even in other jurisdictions, there's acceleration. I mean, it's not a new concept. So, but in our case, because of the need, I think that's our proposal in that bill that we passed. But after that hearing on Wednesday, if after grade 11 it's all electives, then let's provide an exit pathway to college after grade 11. And then if we are able to 8 subjects yan, di ba, Gretchen? Or let's take ethics away. Let's retain ethics in college. 7 subjects. That's 3 units each, I asked them. That's 21 units. That's a whole sem. So if we're able to cut a pathway after grade 11, and then for college, we take away 7 GE subjects, then that's a whole sem in college. And that's, some people are telling me, but Congressman Romano, we have free college education. But tuition fee is the smallest component of the cost of any learner passing through college. The more expensive component is the things he or she needs every day. Food, books, dorm, and that's expensive. Transportation.
Opportunity cost.
So, opportunity cost, exactly. So, one sem is one sem. In fact, after this, I also intend, entering the 20th Congress, I intend also to take a look at those GE subjects which was legislated by Congress, which is inside the curriculum, because there's a law saying you must teach this. I think it's high time also we take a look at these subjects, because we also, again, all these electives we're not removing, that can still be, but it's an optional thing. It's an elective.
What do you think of what DepEd is doing now, trying to decongest the curriculum? Now, yung matatag curriculum is meant to do that.
Yes.
But now, there's a proposal dun sa senior high school. They're piloting it to from 33, I think, to 5 core subjects.
Yes.
Hindi ba sobrang decongested naman? Kasi meron ako nakausap dito, sabi, kaka-decongest na natin, mag-decongest na naman tayo, ano pa matututunan ng mga bata? What do you think about where the DepEd
I want to face that person who told you that, because first of all, the matatag curriculum has not been implemented wholly.
No, but actually,
it was piloted, and that's only grades 1 to 3.
Hindi, ang sabi niya, hindi pa nga tayo nakakakita ng resulta dun sa mga decongestion.
Because nothing has been done yet. The only thing that was decongested was the 15,000 plus competencies at the start, at the proposed competencies from K to 12. Secretary Liling Briones came up with what she called the most essential the most essential learning competencies. She reduced the 15,000 plus to 5,000 plus. What I've been saying since the 19th Congress, it's the subjects that you have to also reduce, and the FLEMS proves that.
Yeah.
I think that's a conservative estimate. 19 million are not functionally literate. From 10 to 64, 19 million. And Gretchen, I think that's going.
Where do you peg the real number to be?
Well, it's scattered from 10 to 64. But we also have an answer already for those graduated, past their age of schooling already. But let's decongest. Functional literacy is the problem. And Gretchen, I always say this. People always talk about critical thinking. I mean, that's a big word. But before you get to critical thinking, you must have functional literacy. You must know how to read and comprehend what you are reading. If we have 19 million who don't have functional literacy, hindi ba tama na muna yung critical thinking? And critical thinking will necessarily follow. Once an individual can read and comprehend, yun yung pinaka-basic eh. And our own PSA is telling us, we don't, and again, let's not also just rely on PSA. Let's remember the PISA exam, the TIMS exam, the SEA PLM exam, all international assessments which ranked us pretty low.
Don't you want to give the decongestion at its way first?
Yes, but let's do it first.
Hayaan muna natin
But we haven't done it.
Full implementation.
Yes, that's why let's do it now.
Oo.
The matatag curriculum decongestion will happen from grades 1 to 3. 1 to 3 po yun.
Oo.
Hindi yun from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Kasi
11.
phased implementation.
Yes, 1
diba?
to 3 lang yan. We will limit it to 5, 5, 6. 5 subjects in grades 1 and 2, 6 in grade 3 because you add science. The focus will be reading comprehension, mathematics, grade level appropriate. GMRC will be there. And of course, science when you get to grade 3. Yun lang eh. Let's get to the basics first, grades 1 to 3. But the problem is beyond 1 to 3. We know because of our NAT exams, the National Achievement Test. We measure our students with a NAT exam. They tell us that's not reliable, but that's the only thing we have from DepEd. We're not faring that well in the NAT exam itself. So that covers 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So what do? We pilot first, matatag in 1 to 3, and bahala na si 4. No. I agree with reforming the senior high school now. We have to...
Ngayon na.
Well,
Sabay-sabay
hindi naman pwede
na
now.
implementation.
Pero hindi naman mangyayari this academic calendar because it's too late in the day. This will really be for next year pa. What DepEd is proposing, the 800 schools, that is merely piloting it. You have to remember we have about 47,000 schools, DepEd schools. So 800 lang yan. Pilot lang yan.
Yeah.
So
it will take us some time. Somebody said also on the show that it takes about 5 years to know the effectivity of a program. Kasi doon mo makikita talaga, no? Kung...
Yeah, but Gretchen, we are going back to the basics, reading comprehension.
Totoo.
So, I don't see what the problem is with that. Honestly, Gretchen, someone told me that
sabihin
also.
ko, bigyan muna natin ng pagkakataon na mag-roll out ito. Di ba?
Roll out natin to. Yes, I agree that.
The bill wants to get rid of the strands, right?
But all the strands will really, under the proposal of DepEd, they will also remove the strands. Because we are limiting it already. We are also limiting the learner after grade 10 from programs or courses in college. Because if he or she does not choose the right strand, may bridging program siya.
So keep the K to 12 but give students many more options and exit points.
That's it. That's our proposal. But we're happy with the bill of because finally maybe they can pass that. We can have a BICAM and we can discuss it.
So was what was the problem with the law to begin with?
I think...
Bakit nagkagulo-gulo na tayo?
Yes.
I mean, from the original proposal and intent, were we not ready? Were people right in their assessment that our Philippine education system was not ready? I mean, in hindsight.
Yes, I think we should have... honestly, in 2015, I was one of those who said that K to 12 is a good program, but we have to do it, we have to face it in. It should not have been... implemented K to 12 from K to 12 immediately. There should have been some phasing in so that we can adjust. Because the problem really, Gretchen, was even grades 11 and 12. At that point in time, 2015, 2014, they actually did not know what subjects to introduce in. They did not know. They did not even have the teachers. They did not have the classrooms. In fact, Gretchen, if someone, the shortage of 165,000 classrooms now, a large part of that was brought about by the non-preparation in 2013 to 2016. They did not build schools. What they did, not enough schools, not enough building. What they did next was they asked the colleges, you can have a senior high school, standalone, so that your teachers can also help us out. We will give you vouchers. What happened now? we found out that there were allegedly ghost senior high school vouchers. I mean, you know,
Maraming mga butas.
Oh yes, the details they did not plan well.
Well, what about free college education? I mean, do you
Yes.
agree with that? I mean, that's a whole another discussion.
Yes,
Because it has also caused the closing of many private
Yes.
colleges and universities, right?
More than that, Gretchen, actually, in EdCom 2, we already had a preliminary study which showed that the target of free college education should have been, is really those who have less in life. But the preliminary study shows that many of the 4-piece beneficiaries who enrolled in SUCs actually were not able to finish because free college tuition is a small component of everything. In fact, I already had a law before that, the Unifast law, which already provided for free college education. But it would only be available for families belonging to the middle class going down. If you can afford, you cannot be qualified for it. In UP now, there are a lot of vehicles. Parking lot is a problem. I mean, sayang di ba?
Maraming salamat for weighing in on with us, for helping us understand the root of the problem that has nagbuhol-buhol na itong problema sa edukasyon. But sabi ko nga kanina, it's good that these figures are actually coming out for us to address the real problem. That was House Committee on Basic Education and Culture Chairman Representative Roman Romulo. And that wraps up today's episode of Morning Matters. We hope we've given you the right start to your morning and some things to think about over the weekend. Let's go ahead and make the day matter. My name is Gretchen Ho. We are One News, all sides, all the time.